Hello, peace seekers. This is Saniqua White popping in to give you a piece of my mind that will hopefully give you some peace of mind. And today I want to talk about handling your anger. I've had a lot of clients who've taken anger management classes who felt like it didn't help. They learned some tips, but felt like ultimately the classes didn't help. And a lot of times those are groups, so you may not get individualized attention. So all of it can be beneficial, but if you've already gone through some sort of anger management routine or class or service and you still feel like that anger is out of control, then you may need to take it a step further. And I want you to really consider some things before you take the next step. What and where does your anger come from? Because if you only learn tips and tools, that's just like the tip of the iceberg, to where maybe you don't explode on someone, but you still walk away with that anger inside of you, and it's festering and it's building. And so what I want you to consider is finding the root cause of the anger. What is making you angry in that moment? Because it's likely a trigger to something else, something deeper. And I want you to consider that anger is an outward sign of something else, softer, deeper, and stronger. Another emotion that's softer, deeper, and stronger. Take, for instance, hurt. If someone hurts your feelings and you show anger, the person only sees anger, so they look at you as being aggressive. They don't realize necessarily that your feelings were hurt, because most of the time we don't tell people that they hurt our feelings. We just show anger, or we disconnect, or we give them the silent treatment. So the person just thinks it made us mad. And sure, it did, but the anger was an outward expression of something that was deeper, softer, and inward. Our feelings were hurt. Words do hurt. And I know we like to say that you can't hurt me with words, but that isn't true. Words do hurt. You can say things to people that cut deep. And so they show anger, but really they were hurt. But those are the issues that we don't deal with. So I would say, if that is you, you want to figure out, what is it that's hurting you? If you can get to the hurt, then you can start to get a handle on the anger. Another thing that you want to think about is if you're simply frustrated in a situation. Maybe you've been frustrated all day or for days or weeks, and so somebody says something and you just cannot take another thing. And so what they see and what you show is anger, when the truth is you've really been frustrated about something for hours, days, weeks, and it hasn't been resolved. So in order for you to figure out how to get a handle on your anger, you have to get a hold of the root thing about what you're so frustrated about. What's not going right in your life? Where are you stuck? What is it that you've been wanting to do that you haven't been able to accomplish? Figure out where the frustration is coming from so that you can get a handle on the anger. Another thing that you want to look at if you've been having trouble with handling your anger is fear. Fear is a really strong emotion that can also result in someone showing anger if they are afraid. Think about watching a scary movie with your friends or family or whoever. How do they react when they're afraid? Or even in a different kind of situation, say you're out at a restaurant or an event or something, a car backfires and you think it's a gunshot, or whatever the case may be. How do you react when you're afraid? Do you swing? Like, do you take a punch at something because you're afraid? Do you run? Do you freeze? What is it that you do when you're afraid? Because a lot of people show anger when the root issue is fear. They're afraid of something happening to them. And so to get you to move back, to get you off of them, to keep you from hurting them, they show anger or aggression. So if that is the case for people around you or you have to get a handle on what that root fear is. What are you afraid of? That is the way you're going to start being able to get a handle on your anger. So if you already know the tips and tricks and everything to get your anger down, then the next step and that's still not working, the next step you want to take is figuring out what the root cause of the anger is. Yes, I understand you're mad. They made you mad. They did something, they said something or they didn't do something or didn't say something that made you angry. But you need to ask yourself, what was it about what they said or did or didn't say or do that is making me angry, that is causing me to show anger? Because it's not necessarily what that person did or didn't do. There's something going on within you that's giving you that kind of a reaction, that's resulting in that kind of reaction from you. And you always want to get to the point where you respond instead of react when you're angry. You're able to respond out of intellect because your emotions are there. You're going to react out of anger. So if you can take a few minutes, and you may already know this and how to do this, but take a few minutes, step back, figure out what is triggering this. Why am I so angry in this moment? What has happened to me in the past? Or what about what they're saying, doing, or not saying, doing in this moment is making me want to react with anger instead of saying and expressing what's really going on with me? Because sometimes we don't realize, we're not conscious about what the real root is. So I challenge you, I encourage you to start looking at what is the root cause of the anger and tackling that thing instead of just trying to get the tip of the iceberg with the tips and tricks. Find the root cause, go deeper, find the softer, deeper emotion that is attached to your anger. I hope this video is helpful. If it is, give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe. I'll be back soon, but until then, be proactive about your mental health. Be well, and God bless.